What's up, y'all? Chris. Want to get some thoughts on last night's Showtime card. First off, really good card top to bottom. But not necessarily counting the preliminaries, but the three fights that we got on Showtime, all three good fights. Of course, the main event, Robert Guerrero taking on Yosihiro Kamegai. Honestly, I didn't really know much about nothing actually about Kamegai coming into this fight. Just really didn't look into him. I just figured it was going to be a kind of an easy step back fight to get Guerrero back in there after being out for a year. But turned out being a really good competitive fight. You know, back and forth, pretty much in a phone booth for the whole fight, toe to toe for the most part. There were times where Guerrero would box from the outside, definitely get the better of things, but for the most part, he was willing to have his back against the ropes and just fight in the trenches and really go toe to toe and go to war with Kamegai. Man, hell of a fight. Early on it looked like Guerrero might be too much for Kamegai, but then Kamegai, once he landed that uppercut and swelled up Robert Guerrero's eye, fight got a lot more competitive and intriguing. He thought, okay, Guerrero can't see out of that eye. Now Kamegai's got more of a chance. I never really thought that Kamegai was winning the fight, but he was being competitive throughout. Hell of a fight though, pretty much toe to toe for the entire 12 rounds. And I don't know if it was necessarily the performance that Guerrero needed coming back, but it made a great fight for the fans. So, a lot of people were kind of down on Guerrero after the Mayweather fight. He's been out for a year, making noise about promotional contract disputes and all this and that, but this is the kind of fight that definitely I think gets fans back in his corner. As for the co-main event, Yosihiro taking on Gary Russell Jr. This was a good fight as well. Very interesting chess match type of fight, Going into it, people were really split, I think, on who they thought was going to win. I think Russell obviously had a lot of people backing him because of the hand speed, and they thought it might be a little bit too quick for Lomachenko, but that wasn't the case. Obviously, Russell had the hand speed and speed advantage, but just threw a lot of jabs, didn't land, threw a lot of punches, didn't land a lot of punches, definitely didn't land a lot of effective punches. Lomachenko definitely landed the more effective shots throughout the fight, both to the body and the head. A lot of really good body shots. Really was digging in to Russell's body. The only thing I would say was, I guess you would say a downside for Lomachenko in this fight, gave away a few too many rounds. There were points in this fight, I don't remember the exact rounds, where he was just tearing into Russell, maybe around 4, 5, 6. Looked like he hurt him, looked like he may be on the way to stopping him. And then he'd come out the following round, he wouldn't do shit. He just wouldn't do anything. He was just like, instead of being aggressive, was on his back foot and backing up. I don't know if he was taking the rounds off or what, but I was like, oh, he's going to come out, got the momentum. Might have Russell, on the ropes, so to speak. And then he just would come out and just kind of take the round off. So, I don't know what that was about. Like I said, I don't know if he's taking rounds off, conservative energy, or what it was there. But credit to Gary Russell for hanging in there. He was getting beat down at times, and I thought he might fold because he's never been such a tough spot kicker in the pro ring. But he hung in there for the distance. But there was no doubt, in my opinion, that Lomachenko did more than enough to win the decision. When it said majority decision, I'm like, oh shit, here we go again. You never know what to expect. Fortunately, the only bad card, in my opinion, was a draw. I couldn't make a case for a draw, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. Because, like I said, there was a lot of times where Lomachenko wasn't doing anything, and even if Russell wasn't being effective, he was being a lot more active. But either way, the black guy got the decision. Really good fight, though. And the opener fight, Devin Alexander, Jesus Cross, a lot better fight than I anticipated. Figured Alexander was just going to stick and move. He had the style to really give Cross problems, but fortunately for fans, he was willing to stand in the trenches a lot more and slug it out. I was surprised. So, good fight. I think if this would have been a 12-round fight, it would have been even better because Cross usually comes on late. Not to say Alexander was fading, but I think Cross was gaining more momentum towards the end of the fight. So if it would have went 12 rounds, I think it could have got even more interesting. I wasn't really digging the 99 or I think it was 99, 91 scorecards. Thought those were a little wide, but Alexander, right guy won the decision. So Alexander deserved to win the fight, but it was a lot more entertaining fight than I expected. Probably one of, if not the most entertaining Devin Alexander fight I can recall. And so to Cross, when is he ever in a bad fight? So comes to be expected from him. As far as undercard, Chad Dawson, first round KO, whatever, dude. bad Chad. Physically, he looked pretty bad in there. He got the job done, but man, who would have thought when Chad beat Hopkins in their rematch that Chad would be where he is now and Bernard would be where he is. And the heavyweight fight didn't really pay much attention to it, but I just don't think Dominic. Well, how do you pronounce this guy's name? Brazil. I do not think he is the future of the heavyweight division for America. People think that Deontay Wilder is a little bit suspect. I can only imagine what they think about Dominic Brazil. And also, one last thing, commentary. I know a lot of people don't like Mauro Ranallo. I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm used to his style because he used to commentate MMA, and I've been watching MMA for the longest as well. But just like to watch commentary where it's much more unbiased, as opposed to watching HBO broadcast where Lampley definitely got an agenda. They usually root for the house fighters. They don't always give you an accurate assessment, including the judge, their unofficial judge of what's taking place. I think the Showtime card, the Showtime commentators are much more unbiased. Just call for the most part. Um, they don't really seem to have an agenda. Even if they do, it doesn't really come across that way as opposed to HBO commentary. So definitely appreciate it as well. And as well as 3 cards, 3 fight cards and the prelims. You can watch prelims on Showtime Extreme. So just credit all the way around to Showtime for putting out some good boxing events. Anyways, that's it for now. What are your guys' thoughts on any of the fights, all the fights, whatever? What's thought about them? We'll see about the future for these guys and any other thoughts in general. Link to Twitter and information right there as always. Till next time, I'm out.